What's up, Taiwan? I'm Leslie Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Starting off with our top story, a group of women working in the Taipei city government say they faced sexual harassment by a security guard at their workplace. It's the latest in a series of alleged sexual harassment cases to come to light in Taiwan, which some are calling the country's Me Too movement. Bing Wang reports.
6 more people in the Taipei city government have come out against the sexual abuser. The sexual abuser is a male security guard working in their workplace. He's been sending them unwanted text messages, touching them, and even asking them out on dates. One time, he even locked the doors so they can't leave their workplace. It's important to note that these are all just allegations so far. A full investigation is underway.
整个事件中，没有人给我们一丝的关怀，只有不断的质疑我们的出发点，甚至 语带威胁的告诉支持我们的同仁，不要再找议员申诉了。
您认为这样的状况，这么多的受害女子，今天公园处派你过来讲的只是2次申诫吗？这样的状况，你今天把它调离其他处所，你在那边盘点有没有女性，这是重点吗？难道其他处所的女性就不会受害吗？
Taiwan has seen a rise in sexual harassment cases in recent weeks, from professors to activists to even politicians. It's become known as Taiwan's Me Too movement, and the hope is once more people come out, others will be brave enough to do so as well. Easton Chen and Bing Wang in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
And the sexual harassment allegations continue. A school principal in central Taiwan's Nantou County has been accused of sexually harassing over 150 students. Joyce Zheng reports.
More victims step forward. Ms. Zhang is testifying against her then elementary school teacher, who she said sexually abused her in a car when she was just a student. That teacher is now a school principal, and as other victims speak up, it's believed he could have assaulted as many as 150 children. According to Chen Yiling, a secretary general at an NGO working to prevent child exploitation, the revelations signal an unfortunate, long-standing problem.
I'm not very surprised to hear about this case, especially it lasts for more than 20 years. When things happen, the teachers tend to cover for each other. They protect each other rather than protect children.
Hierarchies dominate Taiwan's workplace cultures, which is true of schools too. Teachers rely heavily on each other and their superiors to secure career opportunities. Teachers are also highly regarded in Taiwanese society, which is evident in the trust parents have in the country's educators.
Parents, they trust teachers will take good care of their children, or they trust teachers will help their children to get to good schools. It's important for parents to trust your children rather than trust the teachers.
In 2021, Taiwan's police registered over 7,500 cases of sexual assault, over half of which involved victims younger than 18. Chen warns that with the onset of virtual learning tools from the pandemic, protecting children has become even harder.
If we talk about the violence happens, of sexual harassment, of sexual abuse, sexual exploitation happens online, we see a trend that the numbers are increasing.
Looking out for the mental and physical well-being of children, especially in this evolving digital age, is an increasingly urgent and difficult task. But the bare minimum of keeping kids safe can be met by having more open conversations with them and taking them at their word. Devin Tai and Joyce Zin for TaiwanPlus.
Dozens of Chinese warplanes were spotted operating near Taiwan's airspace this morning. The Defense Ministry says it recorded 37 Chinese military aircraft to the southwest over the span of 6 hours. This included fighters, bombers, refueling craft, and radar planes. TaiwanPlus reached out for a map of the incursions, but the Defense Ministry said it would not provide one. Defense officials say they monitored the Chinese maneuvers closely.
国军运用联合情监侦手段，全程掌握共军动态，并检派任务机 任务舰以及岸置飞弹系统严密监控应处。
Taiwan's new military reconnaissance drones could share live data with the U.S. and Japan. Taiwan is expecting a delivery of 4 U.S.-made drones by 2025. Anonymous sources told the Financial Times newspaper that the U.S. will be able to link those drones to its data sharing system that could help Taiwan and its allies track the movements of China's military. But one of the sources has warned this type of data sharing could anger Beijing. Taiwan and the U.S. have declined to comment on the report. Taiwan has confirmed its first case of a child with Mpox. The Centers for Disease Control says the child caught the disease from a family member and has mild symptoms. Mpox used to be called monkeypox. Worldwide cases peaked in August, but the disease is still spreading in Taiwan. Authorities are urging anyone exposed to Mpox to watch for symptoms.
要注意有没有出现水泡、红疹，还有发烧等等这些跟猴痘比较相关的症状啊。如果有的话，请跟这个卫生单位以及就是跟这个就医师跟医师来告知自己有这样的一个接触史。
Staff from a new Taipei city kindergarten have been questioned by the police on the suspicion they fed sleeping pills to young children. The kindergarten's principal and 7 teachers were brought in for questioning by the authorities on Thursday morning. Last month, 3 parents accused the staff of giving children unidentified medicine between February and April. The parents also say the kindergarten staff used inappropriate punishments against children in their care. Police say that 17 parents have lodged reports related to the case. Investigations are ongoing. Victims of a $50 million Ponzi scheme say Taiwan's government failed to act on early warnings about the fraudulent group. But the government says it's not to blame. John Van Trieste has the latest.
These victims of an online scam took to the streets on Wednesday, directing their anger towards government officials. The people here were caught up in a recent Ponzi scheme called IMB, and they say that inaction by the authorities is partly to blame for their losses. The IMB platform matched lenders with borrowers, promising the lenders up to 12% interest. But almost all the borrowers were fake, and new investors paid off older investors until the scheme recently collapsed. 5,000 people lost a combined total of more than $81 million. Victims say local officials flagged the platform 7 years ago, suspecting illegal activity. But they say the Financial Supervisory Commission gave the platform a pass, as it hadn't violated the Banking Act. And victims now say the commission wasn't the only one to ignore warnings.
我们自救会里面是有人说他很早以前就已经有去报案了，有去检举了，但问题是不了了之。请问一下，相关的责权机关是哪些？金管会说不是他啦，苏维部也不是他啦，然后调查局那边也是啊，明明就应该要往下查的案子，不查。
But government agencies say this isn't true. The Investigation Bureau says a case was filed on IMB, though it can't reveal details because its probe is still ongoing. The Banking Bureau also says that claims the government chose not to act because the platform didn't violate the Banking Act are false.
定位表示没有违反银行法，而且呢，反而是续明说，违法吸金的行为呢，所设的法规很多哦。
The fallout of the case has been political as well as financial. Lawmaker Chen Opo from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party has given up on re-election after he accepted money from IMB's founder, Zheng Guowei. Chen says he was not aware Zheng was involved in criminal activity. Meanwhile, the DPP has alleged that the mayors of Taipei and Taoyuan, who are members of the opposition Kuomintang, may have links to Zheng as well. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The presidential candidate for the Taiwan People's Party has hit out at his opponent's policy on China during a trip to Japan. Ko Wen-je says under the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, communication with China has become impossible. He also says the opposition Kuomintang has failed to stand up to Beijing. Ko says his party is trying to strike a middle ground on China policy ahead of Taiwan's presidential election in January. While in Japan, Ko said he would not meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping just for the sake of it. The U.S.-based head of the American Institute in Taiwan, or AIT, has met with the presidential candidate for the main opposition Kuomintang, or KMT. Laura Rosenberger held a one-hour discussion with Hou You-yi on Wednesday at New Taipei's City Hall. The AIT is Washington's de facto embassy in Taiwan, as the two sides don't have official diplomatic ties. The KMT has not said what was discussed during the talks. While in Taiwan, Rosenberger is expected to meet with all three of Taiwan's main presidential candidates. This is Rosenberger's second visit to Taiwan since assuming the post in late March. The UK is set to host a global summit on artificial intelligence safety to evaluate some of the technology's biggest potential risks. Many tech innovators and users have hailed AI as the greatest technological development of the 21st century. But others have warned about the potentially dangerous misuses of it, like spreading fake news and misinformation. Earlier this week, the European Commission said AI-generated content from tools like ChatGPT and Google Bard should be labeled. A diver has found an unidentified species of sea sponge in waters off southern Taiwan. Laurel Stewart explains.
Snowflakes under the sea. What you're looking at is spawning sea sponges. These porous creatures live in the shallow waters of Green Island off Taiwan's southern coast, and they're reproducing en masse. Taiwan is home to a type of sponge known as the giant barrel sponge. But local diving instructor Yu Ming has found a sponge species that's not common in these waters, growing on a reef. Sponges are often mistaken for plants, but they are in fact animals. Scientists say the first animal on Earth may have been a sea sponge. Sponges reproduce through budding and fragmentation, a process called spawning. Spawning doesn't always lead to new sponges, so capturing it on camera was a rare occurrence. The sponges off Green Island are good for the environment. Duan Wenhong of National Taidong University says these benefits come from the sponge's structure.
海绵基本上在海洋里面它就像滤水器
Experts haven't yet identified the new species, but the expansion of the sponge family is a promising find for Green Island's marine ecosystem. Patrick Chen and Laurel Stewart for TaiwanPlus.
Right now, there's a little mermaid being shown on the big screen, but there are also plenty of them here in Taiwan. Our reporter Sandy Chi heads to the pool to see their underwater magic.
Tails on, smiles on, and get ready for a splash. For these girls, their dream of living a fairy tale has come true.
I want to be a mermaid because before when I watched the TV, I saw mermaids swimming and I think it's pretty.
The girls are practicing mermaiding. It's a water sport similar to freediving, but with a mermaid tail. It looks easy as the girls gracefully dance and glide through the water like dolphins. But learning how to swim with the tail takes a lot of practice. They have to undergo professional coaching to train their bodies for the strains involved, like strengthening their core muscles, learning techniques to decrease air pressure underwater, and much more. The activity is extremely challenging, both physically and mentally.
I think the most difficult part is you have to hold your breath for like a long time.
所以我们都需要经过专业的学科，然后术科，然后安全训练，然后孩子要慢慢一步一步的去克服这些他们的心理的恐惧。
But its instructors say that mermaiding is more than just a sport. It's also a way to teach kids valuable lessons.
孩子们在这个团体里面，他们会学到团体合作、人际关系、互相帮忙，然后同理心，然后包括所有的应变能力。
Parents say they've noticed positive changes since their children took to the water.
我觉得是学到坚持，就是因为小朋友很容易放弃，可是我觉得成为美人鱼之后，可以让他在困难的时候不要轻易的说我不要再做了。
Mermaiding has been growing in popularity in the last few years. There are now about 3,000 practitioners in Taiwan. So next time you go for a swim in a local pool, don't be too surprised if you spot a mythical sea creature gliding along next to you. Damon Lin and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
And thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally today, we leave you with images of popular tourist spots in Peru, including Machu Picchu and Vinicunca Mountain. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time.